Hello everybody and welcome. I'm Shayna from Shayna C. Carter Photography, and today I'm going to be showing you how to just give your photos a little bit more of a fall feel. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my Photoshop. So this is the image I'm going to be working on today. I'm going to show you the original. This was the original, and this is my normal edit. And today I'm going to be showing you how to give this even more of a fall feel. If you would like to see how I edited this image from the original to this, I do have that editing video available in my store as a tutorial, and I will put the link down below. All right, so here we go. So we're gonna give this even more of a fall feel. So the first thing I want to do is I want to change the color of her dress a little bit, because the pink and the brownish red of the leaves are just what I want to do is I want to make them blend better. I want them to be have the same tonality. So what I want to do is the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to change my blending mode to soft light. And I'm going to come over to my color picker, and I'm going to double click, and I'm going to choose maybe a color of the leaves, and maybe not so dark, so maybe just lighten that up a tiny bit, maybe a tiny bit more reddish orange, and hit OK. Now I'm going to put my brush on about 20% opacity, maybe 25, and I'm just going to start painting that color on to see how it looks. Okay, that's a good start. So I'm just going to keep painting that on. Just paint around her arm there. Okay, and now another thing I can do to change the color of her dress is to go to my adjustment layers, and I'm going to choose a hue saturation layer. I'm going to go to master and click there, and then I'm going to click on a color of that I know the dress is not. I know that sounds crazy if you've never done this before, but I know the dress is not green. So now I'm going to go down here to my eyedropper, the first one, and I'm going to click on the dress. And that's going to tell me that the main color of the dress is reds too. So now I'm just going to slide my hue slider just a bit. I don't want it more pink. So I'm going to slide it to maybe about there, maybe raise the saturation a little bit, and pull the lightness down a tiny bit. All right, maybe about there. Now I don't want this over the whole image, obviously, so I'm just going to invert my layer mask by hitting Command I, and I'm going to brush that on the dress. All right. There we go. Okay, and that's not exactly the color I wanted it to be, so I'm going to go back, and I'm going to just adjust and play around with my hue, my saturation, until I get it the way that I want it. There we go. Okay, so you can see what that did. It just took it from pink to a little less pink and a little more orangey red. And then combined with the layer we painted before, you can see. So I'll turn that off and on. So you can see it just took down the brightness a lot, and it really just made it blend better with the leaves. And we can even try duplicating that first layer that I made. And that's a little too dark. So I can either turn that down. I think I'm just going to turn that down just a little bit. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to turn it off and on. So you can see that made it blend with the leaves a lot better. Okay, and now my leaves are fallish, but I want to bring out the red even more. So I'm going to go to my levels layer. I'm going to go where it says RGB, and I'm going to go to the red channel. Now I can play with this by sliding my sliders to see if I slide it one way, it's going to add more red. If I slide it the other way, it's going to add more green. Also down here on these sliders, you can also play around with those as well. Okay, so I'm going to slide my mid-tone slider just a bit. And let's see. There we go. Okay, and I do not want that over the whole image, so I'm going to hit Command I, and I'm going to take my brush, and I'm just going to brush it where I want it. And even if you want on the dress as well. Yeah, maybe not. There we go. And I'm going to switch to my black brush at 50%. Just take a little tiny bit of that off. All right, and then if it's too much, you just slide your opacity over here either way. Bring it up and down to where you like it. Now I want to make the areas that I just painted, I want to add a vignette so it makes those areas darker. So I'm just going to go make a curves layer. I'm going to pull down in the center, and I'm going to pull up just a little bit on my blacks. Now obviously I don't want that on her, so I'm going to go to my radial gradient. So here's my gradient tool. I'm on radial and at 100%, and I'm going to just pull. And I'm going to pull that right off of her because I don't want that on her. Okay, so you can see there. Just gave it a nice vignette. Another way that you can create fall colors is by making a selective color layer. And I'm on the reds channel. And you can also play with these sliders as well. So you can see what that's doing. And sometimes that will give you a really nice look. Like I really like when I pull these yellows up, I really like what that's doing to the image. And then maybe pull my blacks up a little as well. Okay, and again, I do not want that on her. So what I'm going to do is instead of using my gradient tool again, I will just go to this mask because I really just want the same mask as I did here. I'm going to hold down my Option key and I'm going to click and drag. Let go. It's going to ask me, do you want to replace the layer mask? Yes, voila, it's done. So I don't have to do that again. So you can see. Just a little bit different. A little bit of a difference. And I could even pull those yellows up more. You can go to all the channels and play around with all the different colors to see what each one, each one is different. It's going to do different things. So just play around with those until you get the look you want. Okay. So this is where we started. This is where we are now. And then if anytime you ever think, oh, I went a little too far, I always try to click mine off and on and just see, did I go too far? And you can always change your opacity to fix that. Okay, so I'm going to flatten now. Okay, And if you want, you can add some leaf overlays. My leaf overlays are from Summerana. And I'm going to click on the website real quick so you can see. This is Summerana. They have several options. What I think is the best option is the All Access membership. This is what I have. It's $19 a month. You get access to everything. Everything you see here, digital backgrounds, editing workshop, I mean, everything. You get access to everything. You can also just buy things individually. So you see here they have their leaf overlays, which is what I'm going to be using. And they also come with some actions as well to help you get those fall colors. So that's Summerana. It's a really great membership. I highly recommend it. I mean, there's so much that you get for the $19 a month. It's just really a great deal. Okay, so I have some of these leaves here. I've selected 4 different leaves. And so a lot of times, okay, so my picture is fairly dark. My background is fairly dark. And if I were to just drag this leaf over here as is, you're going to see that I'm going to make it smaller like I would actually do. It's going to be way too bright to fit in with the background. So I'm going to go ahead and trash that. So what I like to do is work with the leaf before I drag it over to my image. So for example, sometimes I come over here, and if it's too bright, you can pick a brightness contrast layer and just pull that brightness down. Sometimes I like to change the color of the leaf. I don't really need to here because it does blend, so that's not necessary. But what if I did want to change the color of the leaf, I can do that several different ways. One of the ways is, again, to go to the hue saturation layer and play with that a little bit, and you can see there it's changing the color of it. And so get all that done before you take it into your image. So I don't need that layer. I'm going to take that off. Now, you don't want to flatten. You want to pick Merge Visible. Okay, Merge Visible. And then go ahead and drag it to, go ahead and drag it to your picture. Now, I'm going to go ahead and make that smaller. Put it right there. Now, as you can see, it's way too in focus. So I'm just going to make sure that I've clicked on that layer. I'm going to go up to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. It's too much. Just going to get it where I want it. There we go. Now you can see it's still, it doesn't really match the color of the other leaves. So now that I have it in here and I can better adjust for color, oops, I did not mean to do that. I am going to go ahead and do the hue saturation layer. Now, I'm just going to do that slider over a little bit. And now, obviously, I don't want that over the whole image. So what I can do is I can just select my hue saturation and my leaf layer. And then I'm going to right click. And again, I'm going to say Merge Layers. All right, so now it just changed the color of the leaf, not the whole image. So let me see if I can go back. There we go. You see that? Look at the leaf. Okay, there we go. So that's a bit, it blends a little bit better now. Okay, and then you can just move that around wherever you want it, wherever you want to place it. And that's basically what I do on every single leaf. So again, I'm going to bring that brightness down. And now I know that I do need to adjust the colors a little bit. So I'm going to adjust those a tiny bit before I take it over. That looks good. Remember to merge visible, not flatten. Drag it over. And then I'm going to Command T to transform. Make that smaller, and you can, rotate it how you want it. And again, as long as I'm on this layer, I can apply the blur And there we go. Same blur as before. And basically I just keep, adding leaves, get it to where I want it. After I select a few different leaves, if I've got what I want, I can actually just go over here to my leaf layer and duplicate it. And then now I have another one, and I can hit Command T and just, whoops, not that. I can turn it so that it doesn't look exactly the same, that it looks a little bit different. And I can also vary how much I use the blur on each one to kind of give it a little bit of a different look for each leaf. And so I just continue to add leaves until I get them that I want them. And so basically that is how I use Photoshop to attain fall colors, or change my colors the way that I want them, to have them blend better. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, I'd love for you to check out my shop. And also, don't forget that if you would like to see how I edited from the original to this, I have that in my shop as well. And I'll put the link in the comments. So here was where we started. And there was where we ended. All right. Thank you so much. Hope you have a great day.